right, but then I don't know what was going on there. Hopefully it's connected here again. Hopefully it's reconnected. The internet's been perfectly fine. I don't know if it's Streamlabs or something else that has been messing up for us here, but unfortunately we have had a few issues with the race there. It all of a sudden decided that it wanted to disconnect. It dropped all the frames and everything else there in a quick hurry, and unfortunately it ended the stream not only over on YouTube, it ended the stream over on Facebook and over on Twitch as well. So I'm hoping that it's going to be good. I'm hoping that it's going to be fine here for the rest of the evening and that we won't have any more issues here this afternoon as, man, it's never fun when that happens. Well, we did see the caution flag come back out. We did see a few drivers run into problems right there as we will take a quick look back and see what happened. He didn't miss much up until this caution flag, as unfortunately I do believe it was the Laughing Clown 28 ride of Timothy Watson. You see the contact right there, the 99 right already into him here, as unfortunately the 28 trying to come down the racetrack. The 99 getting a good run, trying to stick to the back end of the 12 right. Unfortunately, they get tied together, goes up and over his nose. Hard contact up into the outside fence, and for the Laughing Clown 28, definitely not the spot that he wanted to be as he takes that car down and off the racetrack and back behind pit wall here this evening. As we are back to battle, we are ready to duke it out, ready to launch again here this evening and see who can put themselves up and into victory lane as we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what or why or what the reasoning was there for the stream to have issues there in the first place, and hopefully they're good. Hopefully we don't have any more problems. Hopefully everything runs smoothly here from here on out, as yeah, that's super frustrating when you run into those types of problems, when you run into those connection issues. And it wasn't even a connection issue. It wasn't even connection basis. The internet is golden. The internet is perfect here. I just don't understand what or why it decided to crash on us there, but nonetheless, we will get ready to go back to battle as drivers once again stacked up 2 by 2 by 2, and it's a pair of teammates here. Teammates in the front of the field. It's the 34. That is not Ricky Bobby himself out there, and it's not Cal Norton Jr. in position number 2 here at Talladega Super Speedway. It's Kevin Grubbs and Drew King, 1 and 2 out there on the racetrack. They got Jonathan Cogswell and Jeremiah Nilsson down to their back bumper, as we do see that 94 of Adam Bounton, the 95 ride. That is Anthony Ludi back there in that 6th position. Kent Mueller there in 7 with Jack Simpson, Michael York in the 11 ride of Chris Zofeld, the 40 of Jaden Newson, all right there ready to pounce as Drew King quickly jumps up the racetrack across the nose of his teammate there in that Old Spice number 12 ride. They're looking for a little shake and bake late in this race, hoping to put themselves up and into victory lane. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back in as the racing action back underway and everybody ready to watch these drivers duke it out and go and fight here till the end. As so far, our caution flags have been very minimal. We've only seen 3 yellow flags, and virtually only 1 or 2 cars have been tied up in each of these big yellow flags that we've seen so far, but the big one is lurking right around the corner. At any moment in time, we could see this race come to a crashing end for a lot of these competitors, as each and every one of them, they gotta have that in the back of their mind as we start to spread out 2, 3, even a little bit of 4 wide out there on the speedway. You see that 3rd line really starting to form now, and drivers gonna be looking to try to race their way back up to the front of the field here this afternoon. As Jeremiah Nelson out in front, leading the way in that 35 ride. It's Bounton there in 2nd. Kent Mueller in position number 3. Jack Simpson there in 4th. Chris Zofeld back in 5th, as we'll have to wait and see when these drivers start to want to move around here. As that 3rd line, that middle line, they start to build up that momentum, start to build up that speed again and try to race their way door to door and go 3 wide here at the front of the field. Do we see some big blocks? Do we see some of those drivers that are right there, like the 11 of Zofeld? Maybe jumping a line, maybe trying that middle groove, maybe trying to go to the high side. Unfortunately here, he doesn't really have a whole lot of his teammates around him. They're kind of stuck a little farther back there. He does have 1 teammate at the front of the field, but it's going to be very, very hard to get that 35 ride to want to lead this inside lane without some good reassurance and knowing that a lot of these other drivers are going to stick with them and just not try to lead them high and dry out there on the racetrack. as Nelson continues to lead us down the back straightaway here. You see Belton there in second, Ken Mueller there in third. A great run there for that number 8 riders. Look out, Chris Sofeld. Oh, baby, the big one here at Talladega Super Speedway. They're wrecking down into quarter number 3. They're wrecking here into that third corner. Chris Sofeld, the first driver to go around as the yellow flag will come back out. Sofeld went down and off the racetrack right there. Luckily enough, doesn't look like too much damage. I believe he misses that inside wall, but unfortunately, he's going to be the first driver to shoot down the speedway here. Let's see if there was some contact or some help, as I'm sure, yeah, right there. Big bump to the back end. Yeah, you watch back here. Watch this number 40 ride of Jaden Newson. Newson's going to get a big, big bump right here. And unfortunately for Jaden, as he gets hit from the back end by that 57 ride, it just gets him bent out of shape here completely. As he's coming to the back bumper of that 11 ride right there. Gets him bent out of shape, gets him a little bit higher up the racetrack. So when he gives that bump to the 11 ride, he wasn't completely squared up there with that 11 machine here this evening. And for the 11 rider, Chris Sofeld, luckily enough, I do believe, let's take a look back and see, I don't think he gets a piece of the wall. Maybe he gets very, very close here for this time machine, as all of a sudden he gets the couple big bumps, shoots down the racetrack, and woo! Oh no, he does get a big piece of that inside fence. Oh no, that's a heartbreaker right there for Chris Sofeld. There's heavy damage there to the left front of that 11 ride, hoping that the crew can quickly go to work and get that thing fixed up, as they were wrecking back here behind him. Unfortunately, even more drivers all of a sudden get tied up here in this one, as Al Likens, a lot of these drivers all of a sudden seeing that action start to slip and slide around. The 12 ride of Gavin Grubbs gonna run into some problems here himself. His Grubbs kind of in the middle. Unfortunately, he's gonna kind of get pushed around, and the 54 ride, actually. 54, let's take a look here. That is Justin Hendry here. Hendry, almost the same situation, same scenario, just gets a bad push right there. Unfortunately, shoots him up the racetrack, and then they all just start wrecking as everyone trying to react, trying to decipher where they need to go and what moves they need to make here to try to keep themselves out of trouble. And unfortunately, it just creates a bunch of chaos up here on the outside of corner number 3. So here they come. There's the 54 up and over the nose. Al Likens trying to cut to the middle. He goes up over the nose of the 34 ride. Heartbreaker there for Drew King. 48, nowhere to go. Cost, nowhere to go. That 99 ride of Chronister, nowhere to go out there on the racetrack, as they all end up with some pretty significant damage out there on the racetrack. Great piece of driving there for the 84 ride of Cogswell, as Cogswell is able to avoid that somehow or another in that 84. Let's see if we can take a look back and see his perspective here, as he's just trying to navigate his way through that carnage, and unfortunately it's right in front of him. Not a whole lot he can do, but he gets onto the binders here, able to get checked up, able to get down the racetrack there and avoid any serious damage for him here this evening. As Max says, that hurt like a lot, he says. That definitely hurt, brother. That definitely hurt. That was a big hit right there. As Sean O'Keefe says, go number 36. Cheering on that 36 right here this evening, as looks like the stream once again is solidly back up. It doesn't seem like we're having any connection issues, which is great, which I'm not sure why it ran into that problem in the first place. We don't really ever have those issues, and we don't have internet issues. I got absolutely insane internet here, so I don't know why that decided it wanted to start skipping frames. I think it was more of a Streamlabs issue, just not pushing the stream out to the actual networks, and I think that's what ended the streams there. But we got it working here once again. We got things restarted, refired back up, and right back into it here to catch the ending of this amazing race here at the Hypershift Racing League. Is the BuyNobleAmerican.com 150 about to come to a close here in this one, as Corey says, Cogswell with a hell of a save there. Yeah, hell of a save for Cogswell. His night could have been over very, very quickly right there. And luckily enough, he's able to just kind of keep his foot on that brake pedal and quickly get down through the gears and down to the bottom side of the racetrack right there and avoid heavy damage for himself. As 36, a bandwagon. He's a bandwagon, is he? I can see it. I can see it. Definitely a lot of hurt drivers out there. As Max Cost says, I hope Anthony or Chase or a 24-30 driver wins. Max going in, cheering on a lot of these drivers. Obviously, some very fast cats and definitely some very deserving winners here in the series. A lot of these drivers, they deserve to be up here in victory lane after some of their amazing performances, amazing drives here throughout the season. And this being one of those wild card races for some of these drivers that maybe don't necessarily always have the best speed, but are always there competitively and trying their best each and every week. But now things are a little bit more balanced out. Things are a little bit more even out there, and it's anyone's race. Anyone that's still rolling out there on the racetrack, anyone that's still on the lead lap, still has an opportunity to find their way into victory lane, as it's going to be a green-white checkered finish here this evening from Talladega Super Speedway. As each and every one of these drivers, they want to go fast, and they know if you ain't first, you're last out there on the speedway, as they're going to get ready to be set loose for not one, but 2 laps here to finish off this race, unless we don't see that white flag fly. If we see the caution flag come back out before we get that white flag, then we will stack them up, we will rack them up, and we will try this over again here this evening. And I do believe we have 3 attempts at NASCAR overtime here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So for Jeremiah Nelson, Adam Bount, and a lot of these drivers up at the front of the field, they do not want to see that caution flag. They want to see it go clean and green, and hoping that they can put themselves and find some teammates, find some help, and hopefully put themselves up into victory lane here this afternoon. As all these restarts late in the race, man, it starts to break up teammates, and unfortunately right now for Jeremiah Nelson, he's got no one around him here. None of his Monster Energy teammates up there towards the front of the field there, all the way back towards the back of the pack as James Hudson rolls in the 15th position here on the speedway. Al Likens, who got tied up in that caution flag, he's there in 19th. See the 45 riding Dylan Pinkelstein, he's back at 22nd. Still with some damage to the front end of that car. Chris Sofeld there as well, some damage still to that left front for that number 11 ride. As here we go, back to green flag racing. Our first attempt at NASCAR overtime, and look out, oh, the 54 right again gets another shove, gets loose down on the bottom side of corner number 1 and 2. Luckily enough, keeps his handle on it and able to keep that car pointed in the right direction, as now you do see Drew King run into some issues right there as well. Able to keep that beautiful Me machine pointed in the right direction as they're looking to go 3 wide here again at the front of the field. As look out, they're starting to wreck here, and there it is. Caution flag back onto the racetrack. Upside down goes the 51 of Zach Wilson. Wilson upside down there, riding the rim like Tony Hawk here this afternoon for that number 51 machine. The caution flag back out, and that means we will try it all over again. Another attempt at NASCAR overtime here this evening. NASCAR overtime, take number 2 here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look back and see what happens. As they were getting wound up on the high side, they were starting to make some moves. To see the 24-30 teammates trying to get lined up there on that outside lane. The 40 rider Jaden Newson, he wants to jump up there, try to pick up that teammate in the 36 and try to get that outside lane moving. And unfortunately, as he does, they kind of get a little bit scrambled up. The 51 ride right here looks like he's going to get a little bit of a bump from the 57 of Brian Fine. Oh, yeah, right there. That's the money shot, ladies and gentlemen, as there's the contact, there's the push, the shove, still right on his back bumper as he gets a little loose there through the middle of the corner. Unfortunately, gets him bent to the shape back up the racetrack into Jaden Newson. Nowhere to go for Newson. Here comes Wicker down the track here. He's going to cut down across the nose of Brad, the 51, trying to hang on to it, trying to keep this car pointing in the right direction, but here comes that 9 rider Al Likens back up the speedway. Hard contact there into him, and just like Tony Hawk riding the rim here this afternoon. Nowhere to go there for that Tom's Tasty Taters and Walleye Fish Sandwiches 36 ride. Is unfortunate damage there for Wenzel, and a lot of drivers, unfortunately, just getting tore up again here this afternoon. Is another big one here at Talladega Super Speedway. A bunch of tore up sheet metal, a bunch of destroyed race cars out there on the speedways. Man, that's a heavy hit right there for the 9 ride. That was very Dale Earnhardt-esque out there on the speedway, and I think one of the fellas, I think they deserve to send somebody that $50 or $100-something is right there. The 77 ride of Dalton Wicker. As he gets hit here, he watches down the racetrack. Watch the Tiny Toes machine right there in the middle of the speedway. He's coming down, unfortunately, over the nose of the 21. That just hooks that 9 rider Al Likens back up the racetrack, and hard hit up into the 51, into the outside fence. You'll see Cal Norton Jr. there. He gets up into the wall. He goes around. Bunch of drivers tore up again, a lot of contact, a lot of damage. They're still wrecking down through corner number 4. Here is the 99 of Tyler Chronister, ends up with some pretty serious damage there as well, and man, that's going to hurt a lot of these drivers. Obviously taking a lot of them out of opportunities here, out of a chance to potentially put themselves up and into victory lane here this evening, as Sean O'Keefe says, Wenzel pedal to the metal, go, go, go. Unfortunately for you guys, Gage, I don't know, his night may be done. I think that goose is cooked here this evening, and I do believe he's still rolling out there on the racetrack. I don't know how that car is still in one piece. Where is he? He's up in 7th right here. I don't know how this car is still rolling. I don't know how it's still racing, but nonetheless, the Tom's Tasty Taters ride is not going to give up here this evening. He's going to stick with it, even with that damage, not taking that car down pit side. So we'll have to wait and see how it handles the draft and how it's going to be able to perform, and if it's still got the speed in it that it may need to try to get a solid finish here this evening. So big break right there for him. Obviously, all these drivers now kind of on different pit strategies and everything else. It's going to be a wild one right down to the checkered flag here, ladies and gentlemen, as that was the end of our first attempt at NASCAR Overtime. I do believe, yes, we have 3 attempts, so 2 more times to try it here this evening, as Sean O'Keefe says, oh, darn, that sucks. Number 36. Yeah, definitely tough break there for him. Tough break for a lot of these drivers. As we're going to get a quick word in from our sponsors over at Juicy Spider. Ladies and gentlemen, huge shout out there to our sponsors over at Juicy Spider, and huge shout out to our sponsor here this evening for the BuyNobleAmerican.com 150. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we get these drivers hooked up once again, and they are lined back up, ready to go back to battle here this afternoon. As the 94 right of Adam Boughton continues to lead the way here in this one, Jack Simpson, they're in position number 2 as the RaceEPI.com Camaro rolling there in that second position. Then we see Kent Mueller with a great run here in that DHL Express number 8 ride. Anthony Ludi in the Sprite Cherry number 95 rolling there in 4th. Chase Abel in that Noble American number 7 ride up inside the top 5 with Brian Fine back in position number 6. Gage Wenzel there in 7th with the 21 of Brad Fulham there in 8th. Tyler Chronister there in 9th in the 99 ride, and then we see James Hudson rounding out our top 10. A bit of a tore-up 45 of Dylan Picklesheimer there in 11th with the 84 of Jonathan Cogswell, the 54 of Justin Hendry, and then we see that number 35 ride, another Monster Energy ride machine. That is Jeremiah Nelson back there in 14th with Christopher James, Michael York, Drew King in the 34, Scott Shine there in the 81 ride, Al Likens, Gavin Grubbs, J.J. Moore and Chris Sofeld bringing up the rear of the field here of active drivers back in 22nd. As Dalton Wicker, Zach Wilson, Jaden Newson, Max Kost, and Timothy Watson have all taken their cars back down behind pit wall. As out in front is door to doors, another attempt at NASCAR Overtime here this evening. Drivers trying to work their way back to that start-finish line, hoping to see that white flag fly, knowing that that will be their final lap of this race. But if we see the caution flag come out once again, we will see these drivers see the caution flag. It is going to come back out, and we're going to go to our third NASCAR Overtime here, ladies and gentlemen. Our third attempt at NASCAR overtime here this evening. Let's take another look back here as, unfortunately, 35 rider Jeremiah Nelson up the racetrack here. I'm not sure if that's where it's going to start. Yep, there it is. So contact between Cogswell and the number 5 ride. That is the Cincinnati Bengals machine of Michael York. Unfortunately, they're going to get tied up here in that outside, well, bottom lane right here. And unfortunately, just this little bit of contact, that's all it takes. Doesn't take much, but that little bit of hit right here to that quarter panel spins the 5 up into the 35, and then from that point on, it's on like Donkey Kong. Cogswell nowhere to go. Everyone else trying to slide through there, but with the 5, the 84, all these drivers turned around right there on the back straightaway. That will put us back under the caution flag. So another yellow flag in our second attempt at NASCAR overtime is no bueno, meaning that we are going to go to our third and final attempt here of NASCAR overtime this afternoon. Our third attempt for these drivers to try to find their way into victory lane is after that restart, having that top spot before that yellow flag was thrown. It's now Jack Simpson who leads the way. So Simpson out in front. He leads these drivers with now the Sprite Cherry 95 ride of Anthony Ludi in position number 2. Bouncing back into third with Kent Mueller, Brian Fine, Chase Abel, Gage Wenzel, Brad Fulham, James Hudson, and the 99 of Tyler Chronister rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. As we'll get them stacked up, racked up, and ready to do it all over again. Unfortunately for some of these drivers, they are headed down pit side here as, unfortunately, they were on a bit of a different pit cycle right there. Last time they were down pit side was lap 39. It's miraculous that they made it this far with the amount of fuel that they had in these cars on that 39th lap. But unfortunately now, they got to come down pit road. They got to get fuel. They can't make it another overtime here. They can't continue to roll out there on the racetrack. So a bunch of them head down pit road, including Adam Boughton, Anthony Ludi, Ken Mueller, all down pit side is Drew King, Scott Shive, the number 5 rider Michael York, Jonathan Cogswell, Jeremiah Nelson, the 48 of J.J. Moore, all down pit lane here looking to get some repairs, trying to get their cars at least a little bit more repaired and hoping to see if they can get back into the battle here this afternoon. As out in front, Jack Simpson going to get ready for a big restart. Now, the game plan here for, I think, a lot of these drivers is going to be to keep yourself at the front of the field here. If you can stay out in front and a caution flag comes back out, then NASCAR will end this race under the yellow flag. So if you can hold on to that top spot on the restart, trying to lead these guys for at least a lap or half a lap or the last 2 laps here at least. But if that caution flag comes out before that white flag, NASCAR will end this race under the yellow. There is not going to be another NASCAR overtime. There's no infinity NASCAR overtimes here in iRacing. Well, there could be, but there isn't for the league. There's only 3 attempts at it, and if we unfortunately do see that yellow flag come back out, this race will end under the yellow flag here this evening, and that's not a thing that anybody wants to see. No one wants to see this race unfortunately end under the caution flag here this evening. As Vibe says, tough DNF, man. Good job, number 40. Yeah, great run for a lot of these drivers, but that's just Talladega for you right there in a nutshell, man. You can be running, minding your own business, just having a solid run out there on the speedway. All of a sudden, you're just in the wrong spot at the wrong time, and all of a sudden can find yourself, tore up and out of this race in an instant with no fault of your own, as that's Talladega right there for you. As we do see the lights still on the official iRacing pace car. We're waiting to see those turn off here. Hopefully this time by the start-finish line, we will see the pace lights turn off of that official iRacing pace car and giving these drivers the cue for 1 lap left to go here before we go back to green flag racing. And with this being so close to the end of the race, we're going to get a quick word in here again from our sponsors over at Juicy Spiders. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here we go. Getting ready to go back to battle. We're going to get ready to duke it out here for our final attempt at NASCAR Overtime here in the Hypershift Racing League for the BuyNobleAmerican.com 150 here at Talladega Super Speedway. It has been a bit of an up and down evening for a lot of these drivers. It's been a back and forth afternoon with a lot of good green flag laps out there. We saw a couple really good stints of a lot of good green flag laps, but here late in this race, a bunch of caution flags, a couple of attempts at NASCAR Overtime, and unfortunately now for these drivers, they got one more opportunity at it. If we see that caution flag come back out before that white flag, NASCAR will freeze the field and it will end under the yellow flag here this evening. No one wants to see that. We want to see it end under the green flag conditions, but except for maybe that 24 ride as out in front, leading us back to the green flag, it's Jack Simpson. Simpson with a great shove and a great push here from his teammate as the 36 ride of Gage Wetzel, even with the damage on that 36 machine, still pushing that 24 ride of Jack Simpson out in front. Now lined up behind that 57 of Brian Fine. You see the outside lane trying to get hooked back up. Here is Chris Sofeld and all these drivers trying to navigate their way to the front of the field. Here comes a little shake and bake as Gavin Grubbs now jumps up inside the top 10 here. He's trying to get that third lane rolling down the back straightaway. Tyler Crosser is going to jump up, leave that bottom lane a little bit high and dry as they continue to move around. You see Brian Fine, he's looking to make the move around that 36 ride, and unfortunately, he gets a big enough run to get right down low and looking to take the race lead away. Their door-to-door is down through the tri-oval. Here comes a big run from Justin Hendry. Hendry hooked up on the outside lane, and now here comes the 95 ride, looking to go around him. Oh, is there wrecking again back down across the line? I don't know what's come out, but it is the big one here at Talladega Super Speedway. The white flag, I do believe, was displayed. We'll have to wait and see. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be too close to call. I do believe the white flag has come out, so we're going to race back down to the line no matter what. Gavin Grubbs, our race leader, with Anthony Ludy. They're in second. Chase Abel in that Noble American ride in position number 3 with Tyler Cronister, J.J. Moore, Michael York, and Drew King, the only 7 drivers able to make it through that chaos. As we're going to get ready to see that checker flag come back out. A big move right there from Anthony Ludy. Ludy's got that 7 ride, trying to push him down to the start finish. As you see a little contact, around goes Ludy. Cronister up on the high side. Tyler Cronister is going to pick up the checker flag here at Talladega Super Speedway as they wreck once again down across the start finish line here at Talladega's the 99 ride, able to find his way into victory lane as he had a little shake and bake there with the Cal Norton inspired paint scheme. That Old Spice number 12 ride, able to push him down across the line. Chase Abel coming home in third with Drew King, J.J. Moore, and a heartbreaker there for Anthony Ludy. Ludy coming home in that 6th position with Michael York back in 7th as some drivers still just getting finished this race as Gage Wetzel, Jack Simpson, Jeremiah Nelson, our top 10 here deeper in the field, but it's all Tyler Cronister's. Cronister's going to get ready to absolutely burn down the house here at Talladega Super Speedways. What a run and what a finish that was, ladies and gentlemen. Man, we're going to have to go back and try to break things down as they wrecked not once but twice down across the line here to finish this race. Now, luckily enough, it was still under the green flag. They didn't wreck under the yellow. And for the 99 ride of Tyler Cronister, an absolutely massive win here for the 99 ride. Much deserved win here for him as well. And has shown up and shown out week after week after week. And finally able to kind of taste a victory lane here himself is going to be one for the history books here for Tyler Cronister as he burns down this house here at Talladega Super Speedway. We'll cheer him on here, give you guys a good look at this 99 ride, what he's doing as he gets to celebrate, gets to party here, gets to enjoy every single moment of it as works himself up into the Talladega Super Speedway victory lane. We'll get ready now to try to jump back there and take a look through the field here and take a look back at some of the chaos that unfolded as coming to the white flag. There were so many moves. There were so many things going on here. We see them go 3 wide. We see this big run coming to the outside here. Big run. coming to that outside lane with that number 54 ride in the 12 machine. Unfortunately, as they start getting a little bit shoved around, they start getting a little crossed up. The 95 ends up dipping to the outside, trying to go 4 wide right there, and then the 54 moves down the speedway. And the 12 just kind of still trying to push him here. Gets a big run. Unfortunately, just pushes in the wrong spot at the wrong time. And it just shoves his 54 ride right up and around. Look at Anthony Ludy somehow getting through there as the white flag was displayed. Nowhere to go for Ken Mueller. He comes down the racetrack, collects this 2 ride of Hudson. Then you see the 24 and the 57. They make contact, and everyone else back here through the field just going to slide into this one. Not a lot of cats making it through this without some very serious damage. A lot of tore up race cars here as Brian Fine down low. Jonathan Cogswell's right there in the middle of it. You see all those Monster Energy rides tore up and turned around, pointed the wrong direction, and man, there is a lot of carnage here. A lot of drivers, unfortunately, just nowhere for them to go. You did see the 11 ride trying to slide through there, and Chris Zofeld able to come home in the 11th position, but 4 or 5 wide back here behind Zofeld even, and some of them somehow navigated through there. I don't know how they did, but they did. Let's take a look back at the 5 ride here of Michael York. York able to somehow just squeeze his way through all of this here. I don't know how he was able to do this, chap, but this was a heck of a piece of driving here as he's going to see a lot of this carnage unfold right in front of him, and somehow or another just aims for the middle and gets right through it here as they're just racking all around him, bouncing around, and somehow or another he comes out of it, and all of a sudden he finds himself up here in this 6th position, and now we got a race in our hands as it's still the final lap. We're racing back to the start-finish line, and for a driver like the 95 of Anthony Ludy, what it would mean to try to put himself up and into victory lane, or for the 12 of Gavin Grubbs, the 7 of Chase Abel here in a race sponsored and powered by the same sponsor that's on that 7 ride, the Noble American Machine, out there on the speedways. You see this great run right there from the 95. Gets down to the inside. The 12 trying to side draft him right there. Here comes the 7 onto his back bumper. Starts to push Ludy. You see the 99 goes for a big move to the outside right here, which probably wasn't the right move, but it ended up being the right move. Jumping that outside lane as the 7 of Abel decides he wants to go to the inside here of the 95. Ludy trying to block it. Unfortunately, as they get tied together, the 95 goes down and around off the nose of the 7 machine as he just tried to block him right there, and unfortunately here comes some big hits right there for the 48 for that number 5 ride as they slam hard up into the outside fence. Somehow or another the 7 ride catches it, keeps on rolling, and Tyler Chronister, who made that big move to the outside lane to go 3 wide and to lead that 12 car high and dry with this good run, it pays off perfectly for him as they wreck down low underneath of him. He's just able to keep that power down and just pull right out in front of this 12 machine and put himself up into victory lane, man. What a run, what a move right there. As we'll get ready to pull our race winner and the rest of our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth here in this one, man, as that was absolutely wild here in this one. As yeah, that's the big thing. You always got to try to survive the big one here at Talladega Super Speedway, and unfortunately for a lot of drivers right there, they did not avoid the big one here. I didn't realize we were going to have to go and find the big one in our 3rd attempt at NASCAR overtime here this afternoon, but I guess we did, as we'll pull this 99 right up and into the broadcast booth as we're waiting for drivers to jump into the waiting room here. I haven't seen any of them jump in there as of yet, so we'll wait and see if we can get the rest of our drivers up here and into the waiting room. I'm sure we got them all still in here. There's Tyler Chronister. Let's see if we can get Tyler up here right now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Tyler, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
Not too bad, Tyler. Man, what a run. What a race. Take us back through this one. As on that final lap, you were able to make the race-winning move up there on the high side, able to make that move, go 3 wide, leave the 12 car high and dry. They wreck down below you, and you're able to just power down and pull yourself up and into victory lane here at Talladega Super Speedway, man. Take us back through it, and how does it feel to finally be able to park that number 99 ride up and into victory lane?
It was just a case of right place at the right time. I was doing a pretty good job at timing when to build momentum. And I figured that my momentum. I was going to be able to draft off of the 12 and then swing around him and have just enough to be nose to nose with the guys on the bottom lane. And so that was my best shot, I think, there, and seems to have worked out.
Yeah, absolutely works out perfectly here as you're able to jump up and find yourself into victory lane, man. What does it mean for you now that be able to find a win here, even though it's a super speedway and everything else, but knowing that you're able to beat so many other talented and fierce competitors here this evening and such a amazing speedway like Talladega here tonight.
Yeah, it just it feels really good to get into victory lane. So it's nice when you get a victory. I love super speedway racing. I grew up in Daytona Beach, and I've spent days at the track. My brother used to work there, so I pretty much grew up at Daytona International Speedway. So playing NASCAR video games and stuff growing up, I was mostly doing Daytona and Talladega. So pretty good super speedway racer. Did mostly a good job keeping my nose clean. Got it repaired whenever I got some damage earlier, but yeah, was able to bring it home.
Absolutely bring it home and park that 99 up and into the Talladega Super Speedway victory lane. Tyler, who would you like to thank, man, for such a great run and strong performance here this evening?
Oh man, uh, thank guys at 2430. Worked with them a couple times, and just a couple other folks along the way. But yeah, it was a good night.
Always a great night, brother, when you're able to put yourself up and into victory lane. Tyler, congratulations on the win, and hopefully many more in the season to come for you. Hopefully this is the one that gets the floodgates open, the momentum onto your shoulders, and hopefully just pushing you up here into maybe what could be a championship run.
Right on it.
Beauty Tyler, enjoy the rest of your evening, and don't party too hard down there in victory lane.
10-4.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for our race winner, Tyler Chronister. As Tyler picks up the dub and pulls that 99 up and into victory lane as we'll get ready to pull Cal Norton Jr. up and into the broadcast booth. It's actually not Cal Norton Jr., but it's the 12 ride of Gavin Grubbs. Grubbs coming home there in position number 2, sporting that Cal Norton ride here this evening, the Old Spice machine, as we'll get him up into the broadcast booth right now. Hey, Gavin, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. What's up, man?
Not much, Gavin. A solid run, a strong performance here for you this afternoon. Obviously qualifying up inside the top 5. Had to start down there on pit road, but luckily enough, just moments after going a lap down, we see that first caution flag fly. You were able to get that lap back, and all of a sudden you get tied up in a couple of incidences out there that, Cal Norton ride unfortunately gets some damage, but you're able to get it repaired back into the battle here. And then late in this race, you're right there in a golden opportunity, a golden position as they're wrecking down across the start finish line. They're finally getting that white flag in our third attempt in NASCAR overtime. You're leading this race. You got only 3 or 4 cars back there behind you that are still in contention to run and battle for this race win, and all of a sudden things just kind of fell apart there down out of corner number 4, and unfortunately as you get shoved up to the middle, you got Ludi down to the inside, and then the 99 ride elects not to go with you, jumps to the outside lane, and ends up being the race winning move there, leaving you high and dry down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I'm not too upset that I didn't win that one. I had a decision I made right there before the race. Start from pit road. I kind of figured normal Talladega, there's usually a wreck early, but everybody in this league, we're all good drivers, and I trust everybody. So I understand why there wasn't a caution as early as I thought. Once I got the lucky dog, I kind of just wanted to hang back and save as much gas as I could there for that last run. And when we had the third overtime, after I had the damage in the second one, I decided to gas the car completely up, get the back end of the car heavier so less air would go over the spoiler. And I think that helped me on that run on the outside to get up to the front. I knew Anthony wasn't going to wreck me. He's a very clean driver. So I was just going to hold the bottom as long as I could. And, it's Talladega. Nobody's lifting on the last lap. So out of 2, or I guess it was in 2, when I got slid up to the middle there, I just tried to side draft him as much as I could through 3 and 4. And, you know, um, Tyler Cronister had that big, huge run there at the end, and I ended up finishing second when all that craziness happened there at the right at the finish. And I'm really happy that I finished second. I'm sorry to Justin Hendry there coming to the white flag. Me and him went from the top down to the bottom, and as I was following him down to the bottom, my left front got on his right rear and sent him up to the top, and that kind of caused a huge wreck. And I do want to apologize for that. I feel bad about that one, but there's just you can't lift on the last lap at Talladega, so I hope he understands that.
Yeah, definitely tough contact there. Definitely a tough thing to do. Is you guys were bump drafting all the way down the front straightaway, then down across the line there, going from that top shelf, trying to get down to the bottom there. Obviously, you know, the cars kind of separate a little bit, and just that little bit of different air or anything else, and all of a sudden, you know, you're just unfortunately not lined up perfectly with these back bumpers, and it can spin a car around in a quick hurry. We saw it a few times here this afternoon, and right there at the end for Justin, a heartbreaker for him, and a heartbreaker for you is you didn't be able to find yourself up into victory lane, but man, it's so close here tonight. It's gonna feel good though to still be able to come home, have such a strong run, such a strong performance, and park that 12 right up here on the podium.
Yeah, it was. And the one thing is, we kind of had a joke in lap down racing, the four of us that ran the Talladega Nights paint schemes. We had a joke that if one of us won the race, we would give a Ricky Bobby style interview. But, I guess I can't say I piss excellence if I finish second.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you ain't first, you're last, Gavin, as you come home in position number 2 here this evening, brother. Great run, great performance, man. Who would you like to thank for, such a great run out there on the racetrack?
First of all, I want to thank God. I mean, I feel like you have to do that first. My teammates, I'm going to give a shout out to Tyler Chronister, the winner. He kind of helped me kept me from going 2 laps down there. Once I came around the field, we hooked up and worked together, and they're at the back of the field before I got the lucky dog. I want to thank him. I want to thank all my teammates. Um, this is a cool thing I want to talk about. I race from a wheelchair, and my pedals are mounted onto my footrest. I want to thank my dad and my older brother for kind of building a custom-ish sim rig that connects to my wheelchair. I want to thank them. And I want to thank everybody in this league for putting on this great broadcast. You do a great job announcing. I love going back after the race and watching all the replays. So I think I've thanked everybody I can think of. So I hope everybody has a good night.
Absolutely, brother. Well, it's definitely a great night for some racing action. A crazy one here at Talladega. And, brother, congratulations on the second place run. Hopefully more trips and opportunities for you to jump up here into the broadcast booth throughout the season. And maybe one of these nights, seeing you one spot bender and up here in victory lane.
That's the plan.
Beauty, Gavin, enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Gavin Grubbs. Huge run right there for that 12 ride. Great run, great performance, and we can't wait to see him back out there on the racetrack next Thursdays. We'll get running now to pull in our third place finisher here this evening, Chase Abel. Abel coming home there in position number 3. Solid run, great drive there for that 7 ride, and being able to put that Noble American ride up and into victory lane here in the Noble American by NobleAmerican.com 150 here this evening. A race sponsored by the same sponsor that's on his car is going to be a cool thing to be able to come home in position number 3, still being able to jump up here into the broadcast booth. Let's pull Chase up here into the booth right now. Hey Chase, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Take a copy.
Yes, sir, I do.
Chase, man, a solid run, a great drive all evening long for yourself as you're able to come home in position number 3 after what was a chaos-filled finish to this race. Obviously, a few caution flags, a couple NASCAR overtimes, and then the contact there down through the tri-oval between you and Ludi. Back down to the line, unfortunately, taking both the out of contention, trying to find victory lane here this evening as, I don't know if you were trying to get that inside lane, trying to go 4 wide right there for the race lead, or if you just kind of stayed to the middle while you tried to hug that yellow line, or what was kind of going on right there between the two of you?
Oh, man, I was just driving. I went for a gap that wasn't there. I already apologized to Anthony. Feel terrible. That is the last guy I want to take out. But, I mean, Super Speedway racing last lap, the Noble American 185, I got to go for it, right?
Yeah, you definitely got to go for it. You can't leave it up for grabs as you wanted to steal this one away from Tyler Chronister and Gavin Grubbs. Unfortunately for them, or unfortunately for yourself, you couldn't quite get there and had that contact and issue. But for Chronister, big win for him. Great run there for the 12 ride and a great run for yourself as you're still able to come home even after wrecking through the Trial Bowl in position number 3 here this afternoon to round out our podium in a race, as you said, sponsored by your own team here, your own sponsor on that car, the Noble American Machine, up here in the podium here for this Noble American race.
Yeah, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun that race. I really did. That was probably the most fun race I had. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, hey, I like to hear that, brother. That's what it's all about, is having fun, enjoying your time on the simulator, and when you're able to jump up here, still come home in third, and keep all these amazing drivers back there behind you. It's always got to feel like a bit of a win in your own books.
It is for sure. It is.
Absolutely. We'll chase you, park it up here on the podium this afternoon at Talladega Super Speedway. Brother, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance here this evening?
Well, I want to start off with my teammate Max. That dude carries me heavily on pitch strategies, so without him, I'd be running around like an idiot. I want to thank Anthony for this awesome league, awesome opportunity that I got in last minute, and I gotta shout out Kiki. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Beautiful. Chase, great run, great drive here this evening, brother. Hopefully a little bit more momentum being built up here for you. More opportunities for that Noble American number 7 ride to jump up here into the broadcast booth throughout the remainder of the season, and maybe one of these nights finding you up here in Victory Lane as well.
Yes, sir.
Chase, enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Chase Abel. Abel coming home there in position number 3. Solid run, solid drive there for that 7 ride, as unfortunately that is going to do it for us here this evening. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, showing all the love and support here this evening, all the likes, the comments, the shares, man. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and if you haven't already, make sure you guys once again hit that thumbs up, as the stream had to get restarted there. I do apologize for that. I don't know what happened there. I think it was a Streamlabs issue where it decided to crash and had to get Streamlabs restarted and refired up and get the stream going again there. So we missed a couple laps, but luckily enough, we got right back into it here for the finish of this amazing race. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen.
Rubber burning engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafting on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits, in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, the glory we take. Rubber burning, engine screaming, it's a madhouse. Hypershift racing, every driver wild and riled out. Peacemaker broadcast, a crowd tuned in tight, watching steel beasts fight under stadium lights. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Tires spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits in the fast lane we stay. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm, the glory we take. Tire spinning rhythm, a dangerous ballet. Hypershift gladiators in an asphalt ballet. Drafted on the curves, it's a calculated gamble. One wrong move leaves your dreams dismantled. Crowd roaring, engines roaring, echoes break the sky. Broadcast live for the legends who never fear to fly. Checker flags beckon, it's the road we obey. Adrenaline profits in the fast lane we stay. Pistons pump like heartbeats, it's mechanical insanity. Hypershift warriors bending physics with calamity. Peacemaker feeds a frenzy to every fan's delight. When the lead's in the zone, it's a glorious fight. Pedal to the floor, we ain't pumping no brakes. Speed demons in the zone, leaving fire in their wake. On the edge of chaos, ain't no room to fake. Peacemaker screens lit for the glory we take. Time spinning rhythm,